Good evening. Good evening, parents. Good evening, teachers, staff, friends. But most importantly, good evening, graduating class of 2009. Round of applause for them. Very good, very good. A few warnings before I begin. One, I hope you all like me because this speech is essentially about me. Two, I'm not going to say anything cliche like, this isn't the end, this is the beginning, so we're going to steer clear of that. Three, what I'm about to tell you is strictly common sense. And four, no dirty jokes this time. I've been informed that I cannot tell you that, and I'm going to leave the rest of that sentence up to you guys' imaginations. So off we go. Good evening, everyone, again, etc., etc. I've been crying all day today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because today's so emotionally charged and I'm so very, very sensitive. Maybe it's because I've finally discovered the true meaning of Christmas. But mostly, I think it's because I started writing this at 2 o'clock this morning, and I heavily, heavily regret it. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Seriously though, writing this speech is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. This is because when I started writing, I didn't have the confidence I needed, for a number of reasons. First, I knew I wouldn't be able to please everyone. You know, I could have crammed this speech full of jokes, but then I'd be letting down those looking for a little more substance. I could have made it an uplifting reminder of what we've accomplished, but then I'd be disappointing those looking for a little more Manco patented awkwardness. So no matter which way I sliced it, I wouldn't be able to get everyone to leave here having heard what they wanted. To make matters worse, I used to look in the mirror a lot. It was a bad habit. I kept asking myself, do I really have the appearance befitting a valedictorian? I mean, my teeth are kind of yellow. I look tired more often than not. If I was any paler, I'd probably be transparent. And, yeah, there's always that one big zit I couldn't get rid of either. So as I started writing, I realized that I didn't even know what the purpose of the speech was. I know, it's valedictorian, I'm supposed to do 3 things: to say farewell, and to inspire and persuade the graduates, right? But which of those do I really want to hit? Is this my opportunity to inspire my fellow graduates to achieve great things in life? Or is it an opportunity for me to try and persuade all the girls to make out with me? The only thing I knew was I didn't want the speech to be disappointing, because if it was, it'd be one of those really awkward moments that would haunt me forever. Like, you know, when your parents make you sit on Santa's lap at the mall and then sweat dribbles down his beard onto your face. Not that that's ever happened to me, just saying. There was one more big problem I ran into when writing the speech. There'd be a lot of people here who didn't know me. So, unlike students and teachers who I knew would laugh out of obligation because you guys are so nice, these people, they don't know who I am. What do they think of me? So I did a little field work. I went to various locations in the city and elsewhere and asked random adults whether they would be my friend or not. For the most part, I got one of 3 responses: yes, no, and stay away from my children. What's interesting to note, however, was that the most important factor in what someone decided to tell me was not how old they were, what their gender was, what they were wearing. It was where they were located. I got the most yeses from people in the market square, the most no's from people in a hospital, and the most of that last one when I was standing outside of a Chuck E. Cheese. Though this exercise was not incredibly helpful in making new friends, it was very valuable to find out how people perceive things. I came to the conclusion that, yes, who you are is an important factor, but not nearly as important as where you are. This is good because while it's arguably impossible to change who you are, changing where you are, well, that's easy. To illustrate just how powerful this where you are perspective stuff is, I'm going to look at Lee Pauls. Alright, now for anyone who has seen Lee on the robotics team, you'll know that Lee is someone who designs and builds award-winning robots. However, to anyone who has seen Lee grow, he is an award-winning robot. To some of you this may seem like common sense, and it may sound incredibly boring, but it is important that everyone understands this so that they can take something away from the speech. But more on that after the break. Alright, so this is my little intramural pause thing. This is my ultimate SWC to-do list. I figured that since this may be the last time we're all gathered together in one place, I'd give my suggestions on a few things I think everyone should try at least once while it's still a chance. Okay, anyone who hasn't heard Miss Cox recite the alphabet backwards in less than 3 seconds, I suggest you get her to do that. I didn't think it was possible either, but I guess Miss Cox just defies logic. I had an entry for a certain Joshua Stoddard, but he couldn't join us this evening. He's currently busy at Ryerson, performing and fighting giant octopuses, octopi, something like that. This one's a little tricky. If you manage to sneeze in the presence of Tommy Ward, you will be amazed at how quickly and efficiently she says, "Bless you." To anyone who hasn't given Mr. Robino a hug, it's the most satisfying hug ever. What are you guys ready for? And the last one, the most important one of all, to all the girls who haven't made up with me, I hear it is phenomenal. So that's it for my list. This is the second half of the speech, so I'm going to go into super serious mode right now. I asked my mom if I looked cool, and she said yes, and then started crying. It was the best birthday ever. Where was I? Right. So, after I came to the conclusion that where you are is way more important than who you are from a sense of perspective, I started to see all sorts of things that I never could, simply by changing where I stood. All of a sudden, my bed was more comfortable, sunsets were prettier, and people with tattoos of bats were less creepy. No, only slightly. I don't look in the mirror anymore. Mirrors offer poor perspective. I mean, think about it. When you look into a mirror, everything's backwards. How is that accurate? Instead, if I need to look at myself, I do it through other people. My dentist tells me that despite the yellow in my teeth, they're in great shape. When I stand next to some other people in my video game design class in university, I don't feel so pale. And that one big zit I couldn't get rid of, turns out it was my nose this entire time. So here I am, with the confidence to write this speech, and all the grace of a Tim Hortons ice cap. Cool, smooth, sweet, overpriced, thick. The change... The change has been pretty awesome. You know what would be more awesome, though? If everyone in this room could do the same thing as me and change their perspective on the things around them, starting with themselves. I see it all the time, including in this room right now. People too concerned with the little things to realize just how amazing they are. Next time you look at yourself, don't use a mirror. Ask a friend what they think of you. I guarantee you'll hear something that'll make you feel like $1 million. All right, once you got past that, it's time to change your perspective on the people around you. Now everyone, turn to the person next to you. Squint. Tilt your head a little bit. And stick out your tongue. Do you see that? Yeah, me neither. I just wanted to know if you guys would do it or not. But really, changing your perspective on someone else, it's very easy. All right, I want to get a show of hands. Who has gone down the halls of Sir Winston only to realize that they're not going the right way at all? So you do a quick 180 and hope nobody notices. Show of hands. Very good, very good. Well, I have seen Maurice Thomas do that. And believe me, when I did, wow, it was suddenly like we were so much more connected. Like that IQ gap of 300 didn't exist. Most importantly, though, I want everyone to consider changing how they view the school, the time you spent here, and the graduating class as a whole. Whether we like it or not, our perspectives are going to have to change, because after today, whenever we look upon our SWC experience, we'll all be looking behind us. So, I told myself, oh, I can't see anything with these. I'm sorry. Where was I? Right. What will you guys remember when you glance back? Accomplishments, regrets, the first time you aced a test, the first time you failed one, friends found, friends lost. There's no wrong way to remember high school, but I'll let you know how I'm going to remember Sir Winston. I'm going to remember both my triumphs and my defeats in what has been, so far, the best years of my life. I'm going to remember all the teachers who made this amazing journey possible, from the ones that made math fun to the ones that made writer's craft hell. Thanks, everyone.